So Britt, we are so thrilled to have you here. We have all been having great anticipation, that Heinz ketchup commercial, anticipation. So I'm going to give you the official and then just share a little personal thought about Sweet Britt. She is a content creation coach, a brand photographer, and creator of Brand Builders Bootcamp. If you've seen Britt's work, it's so yummy, so sharp, so spot on. She helps creatives gain the visibility they need to stand out in their field and feel confident in their content creation. She helps you take massive action and drop the overwhelm so you can grow your business guilt-free. Don't we love that? Brittany is the host of the Pose for Success podcast, teaching entrepreneurs how to market themselves successfully. And she is currently doing her MBA because she has nothing else going on. And she also has, how many kids do you have, love?
I have 5 kids.
and she looks like this. Every time I talk to her, she's calm, she's collected, she's lovely. I literally am like, I stand all amazed. She is incredible. And she is also our DTLC affiliate. Everybody gets to have a session with her to do your branding and alignment. And it will be powerful and so effective and so useful. What I personally love about Britt and have loved from the very beginning is we met at that networking night. Isn't that right? From Ashley. Ashley, our DTL alumni, had a networking night that she created and did this beautiful evening, had about 25 women there, and everybody stood up and shared their thing. And I was so impressed with her. And then after that, connected with her. And just every time we talk, she's the kind of person when I leave, I'm inspired. I've got more clarity. And she hears what's unsaid. She gets me at the core of what my values are and being a mom and then how to be able to see the things I'm not seeing and be able to understand the things I'm not saying. That's a gift. And I just love and appreciate how much that she is on the DTL value system. She is so DTL. She just gets it and she lives it. So with that, we will turn it over to Britt.
Oh my goodness, Connie, you just, like, my cheeks are just hurting because you're so kind to me. And I love being able to be a part of this community. I kind of got to like listen in on those last few really cool stories. And it was great to be a fly on the wall because honestly, this is really the work that you're doing. And I love the community that Connie's built. And I know you guys are so wonderful. I love seeing the faces that I know, Angie, Diane, Lamira, Drew, yourself, all these people. You guys are in the very, very best of company. So I just want to echo, Connie, I adore you. And I'm very, very honored to be able to be here with you. So with that, I kind of want to talk to you a little bit more about how you can do more of that marketing aspect and growing your business, specifically with brand. So I'm going to dive into a little presentation, and Lamira, I'm going to see if I have the ability to share my screen here. So let's see if we can figure this out. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Here we go. Today, pushing all the wrong buttons. Hang on, ladies. Today, we're talking about the 3 branding mistakes that you're probably making. And tell me really fast if you can see my chat on the side or if you can see my full screen. Full screen. Okay, good. Very good. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So for starters, I'll let you know just a little bit about me. I am a brand strategist and photographer. I've been doing this for about 7 years. I absolutely love working with women. I think you guys are powerful. I am currently doing my MBA, which has been a strain in so many different ways, but I love it. I love learning and I love understanding a little bit more about taking these really good, big concepts that apply to massive businesses and then turning them around and helping small, medium businesses grow and being able to give that education to you. My number one superpower is always to help women feel comfortable and confident in anything they do, specifically in their content creation. More about me. Yes, I am a wife. I am a mother to 5 amazing children. I'm a 3-time small business owner, and I am a disciple of Christ, which is really how I choose to be defined. And I love that I get to be in this kind of a community with you. So here's my question. I always hate having presentations that are like, are you doing this wrong? Because at the end of the day, you're doing so many things right. So this is my promise to you. I promise that you are doing better than you think you are, that you are being led on this journey, which is just right in alignment with your disciple thought leaders, and that you are making a difference in this world. So whether or not these are things that you relate to you, that you knew about, that you didn't know about, that you needed a reminder on, take a deep breath, because you are in great, great company. The more and more I learn about the greater marketing world and the businesses that people are building, the more and more I understand that nobody really knows what they're doing. We're just trying our very, very best. So if you're trying your best, which you are because you're here, I promise you're in the right place. Okay. So the first mistake I want to talk about is not understanding your brand. And feel free at this time to like unmute yourself. What do you guys think of when you hear like this brand? And I know Connie teaches this, and I know that you're getting a lot of this, but many, many times, and I've seen this too as I've worked with you, or you can throw it in the chat too. Like logo, raise your hand. Your logo, your colors, your fonts, all of these things, the graphics that you use. When we think brand, many times we're like, okay, here's the designer. I'm going to just tell them I want my pinks and my greens and my blues, and this is how I want it to look super, super pretty. I've got this color palette. Maybe I use some pre-made templates in your website. It's so beautiful. And once I have this, I'll have my brand, and people will know what it is that I'm doing, and they will hire me, and I'll make a difference, and I'll make a world. Okay. Many times this is what we think. And even if maybe we're like, Brittany, I know maybe that's not what it is. In the back of our head, a lot of times we think that this is the most important aspect. I'm here to just kind of knock that out. Okay. So when you come and work with me, if you're like, good, I'm so glad Brittany's going to help me pick out my fonts and logos. If you've already worked with me, you know we don't do that, right? We can talk about it, but there's some fundamental things you have to understand first about your brand. And I always say that your brand is the energy that you bring to it, because essentially you are that brand. And it breaks down into a couple of key things. And it really comes down to understanding who your customer is and this journey that you're taking them through. If you can take somebody along a journey, then that is your brand. And it comes from understanding some really key concepts. The first one being you. And I believe Connie was just like preaching on the pulpit about this. Maybe I'm wrong. I missed a little bit of it, but understanding who you are, knowing uniquely who you are and what makes you different is key to understanding how you're going to build your brand. The next really like meat of a brand is problem, audience, transformation. And I'll dive a little bit more into this, but problem, understanding what problem you're solving for. If you're not solving for a deep-rooted problem, nobody will buy from you or listen to you or anything, okay? Because we're just human beings and we all have problems. And what do we want? We want our lives to maybe be a little bit simpler, a little bit easier. So understanding the problem that you're solving for is key. And then second is knowing who your audience is, intimately knowing who you're speaking to and who you're trying to attract. And then of course, that transformation. I'm all about the transformation. We are going to dive more into this, but creating a transformation and helping and understanding how you can help your audience, that's really what puts this together. It's that final piece. And I'll show you how that fits in. And then of course, being able to replicate that. This is your brand journey. You probably have never seen it laid out like this. You've probably seen fonts, logos, this, or understand your customer. This is how it all fits together. You are unique. You solve a problem for a very specific person to get them the transformation that they want. And then you do that over and over and over again using systems and automations. So let's talk about this transformation. I love this transformation because I like to put it in this kind of an understanding. You have a before person, you have an after person. The before person is struggling with something. And it could be something as simple as like they're hungry and they want a cookie. Okay. It doesn't matter. They've got this before, they've got this after. It can be as deep as they have had some really big struggles and trials in their lives. and they want to be able to know how to navigate their life, either dealing with these struggles and trials, or in spite of them, or because of them, right? There's a transformation. And if you always think about person or before person or after person, how you get from A to B is going to be this, what I call your invisible bridge, this transformation. And that gap, that bridge that you're taking this gap over, that last sentence didn't make sense. Run with me, ladies. I know you understand what I meant. That's your solution. That is your offer. And if you can always think of it in this way, there's somebody who's in pain, there's a life that they want to live afterwards, and whatever gets them from point A to point B is the solution, my offer, that transformation. You're always going to be able to have something that's going to be able to generate your business money and revenues and growth. Okay. So think about this. If you don't know what your transformation is, if you are not clear on this, think about people you've worked with. Think about the experience they have. Walk through that and be able to understand. But if you're focusing on that transformation, then you have a really good, viable offer. And that's what your brand is. When you understand your transformation, you're never going to be able to run out of content. You're never going to be able to run out of ideas. You're always going to be able to serve people. Okay, so do not get trapped thinking your brand is, you're going to change your brand, you're going to do a rebrand, you're going to change your colors, and you're going to be in business. No, 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 no. My dear, dear friends, it's that transformation that you get to offer. And that's when you never run out of things that you can create and build and add value to this world. All right. And if you have questions, like jump in and ask questions too. Okay. Lamira, will you keep an eye on the chat for me if there's something? Thank you. You're always so wonderful. Okay. Here's our lie. Here's our myth. Here's our problem that we tend to do next in branding. And I see this all the time. It's trying to help everyone. Now, this is particularly a feminine and a Christ-centered problem, is that we want to help everyone. And that's a beautiful, beautiful gift. But we probably are thinking we want to try and help everyone because we want to expand the number of people we can serve. And when we hear the word niche, we think it's like a dirty word. It's not, okay? Niching isn't bad because it does two specific things for you. It allows you to dive deeper into your customers' problems, which we just barely learned. Your customer problem, when you understand that, you can get them the transformation. You can create that offer. You can create that solution. And the more you can dive deeper into your customers' problems, the more they are like, they're in my brain. They know exactly what I need. I can trust them. And what that does is it allows customers to be attracted to you. Okay. When we think marketing, we think, oh, I'm going to put something out there. I'm going to, it's this push kind of marketing. I'm going to create a Facebook ad. I'm going to go to, I'm going to speak on stage, and it's this me pushing outwards. A brand is actually the opposite. It's pull marketing, and it's attracting customers to you because they are finally recognizing, oh my goodness, she gets what I am dealing with, and I want to learn more. So there's this difference in this pull and push marketing. So niching, which I know you guys have talked about on a number of occasions, is when you start to say, I'm not going to talk to everybody. I'm going to talk to a very specific person. And you can go deeper and deeper and deeper with that person. A lot of this comes from understanding who your ideal client community is. And it's not just your demographics. It's not just, oh, they're a 45-year-old woman who lives in Utah and has 3 kids and makes X number of dollars. That can be very, very important, but I want you to focus more on the psychographics. Like, what are their pains? What are their wants? What do they do on a daily basis? Where do they go shopping? Where do they find help? What are they doing for fun? Those are significantly more important and are often forgotten because it allows you to have a broader group. So if you're nervous about niching, you're like, oh my gosh, I can only talk to this one person, nobody else. When you start to think about the psychographics of your ideal client community, it actually broadens that a lot. So these are people who value, conservation, or they have this desire to better themselves. Whatever it is, it starts to broaden that a little bit more, and you're not quite so pigeonholed. And you're starting to understand what it is they really want. Where do they spend their time? And of course, I want you to trust yourself. Sometimes we think when we niche that this is it. We can't change it. It's exactly, we have to stick with this one person. And that's like a myth within a myth. When you niche, it just gets you greater clarity because you're focusing on the problem. Okay. We're talking all about problems. Don't be negative. This is not a negative presentation, but problems, when you're focusing on this and you're understanding what they're feeling, you're understanding what the problem is and also why this is a problem. You're able to better condense and speak to them, speak to their needs. Before I go into this one, I guess I probably jumped ahead a little bit. Going back to that, I want you to understand you have the ability to change whenever you need to. Sometimes when we think we niche, it means we're stuck in this one subcategory of people that we want to serve. And I just want to let you know that you have the freedom to change that whenever you need to. And there's nothing wrong with it. Don't add shame that you did something wrong, or maybe that you failed at serving that community. No. You're always going to be changing and evolving as your business. If you're not doing that, your business is just going to die. So give yourself some of that release and that knowledge that you're not always, you have to always do this one person. And then also know that because you're niched and you're talking about solving a particular problem and you have a particular transformation, maybe you're like, this really is for women in their late 40s. It doesn't mean that somebody in their 20s or somebody in their 70s can't buy from you or can't learn from you or can't find value in what you do. It's just helping you be able to essentially like have a megaphone in a crowd and tell people what it is that you're speaking to. It's amplifying your message. Okay. All right. So here's our last one. Here's our last myth that I see a lot and I want you to try and avoid. And it's this trend chasing. Okay. Trend chasing happens a lot with mompreneurs. I haven't had to say that in a long time because I've like been with a lot of men lately in my program. They would all laugh at me and be like, what are you saying? But chasing trends, this happens a lot in small business. We think that somebody's doing something really well, and so we must replicate that, and that will lead to success in our own business. And to some degree it does. We just talked about being able to like change your business and follow what it is that you need to do and grow and pivot. If you're not doing that, if you're not constantly having some type of change and growth in that aspect, your business isn't going to thrive. But if you're constantly chasing trends, it's going to have some serious detriment to your business. I think about a story of way back when Instagram was a photo platform only. It was very, very popular to use Instagram filters. And it was funny because you could look at somebody who maybe had like a little bit longer of history in Instagram, and you could see chunks of their content that would change based on trending filters. And so all of a sudden you're on this app and everybody's photos are looking the exact same because they're using this filter. And it was like this orangey tint filter was like, and everybody looked like they were Oompa Loompas or like had a really bad spray tan or had gone to California in the winter, whatever it was not looking great, but everybody had it because it was chasing this trend. The problem with chasing a trend like this was that all of a sudden every single person's content looks the same. And you all of a sudden are not differentiated. And nobody knows if this is you or if this is, Tina or this is Sally or whoever, because you're not differentiating yourselves. So when you're chasing trends, you tend to kind of like not have a plan because you're always one step behind where you think you need to be. And I just want to say you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be everybody does not need to be doing podcasts and guest articles and every single social media account and being in every single conference and doing all of the networking things. I don't know about you, but I would be exhausted if that was what I had to do. And if I was chasing all of these things. Right now, we hear TikTok, 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 TikTok. That's the latest thing. And then it's going to be real, like be real, be real, be real. It just constantly moves and changes. And of course, you want to be able to follow the growth, but don't chase the trend just to chase the trend, because that's going to really derail you from your main purpose and what you want to do in your goals in your business. So please stop trying to do it all and do what works for you. This is what I am like, the core of what I build my business on is if you think you have to do everything, then you're not going to be able to do anything because you will get overwhelmed and you will not be able to be consistent. Because at the end of the day, consistency is what equals clients, not trend chasing. Okay. And I love this little graphic because you've heard people need to see a message like 7 to 10 times before they like believe it or that they start to think about it or that they integrate it. This was really, really great, like maybe 5 years ago. Now it's like people need to see a message 700 to 1,000 times before they start to get it and integrate it. So when you're chasing trends and you're changing what you look like, you're changing the message that you're speaking about, you're changing the platform that you're on because you're just trying to ride that wave, it's not going to be as beneficial for your business. You are all in your business and in what you're doing for the long run. People who are trend chasing are very short-sighted. And none of you guys are going to be short-sighted. You want to think about this for the long run. When you think about those massive major brands that are doing so well for forever, they've been doing well for forever because they've been in the game for a long time. And they recognize that sometimes there's going to be ups and sometimes there's going to be downs. Sometimes we're going to be in a recession or there's going to be layoffs or people are not going to have the disposable income that they need to be able to hire you. Sometimes we'll be in this wealth of abundance or everybody's going to all of a sudden be really desiring what it is that your offer is. It's going to change. And if you feel like you're going to be this bird that's hopping from foot to foot, it's not going to be great. You're not going to get that consistency and understand those things that you need. So please, please, please don't trend chase. Instead, you're going to really want to make sure that you're being consistent with that message where you're showing up. It makes it easier for your clients. We never, ever, ever want to confuse our clients. And consistency is the key in that. So when you are going about your business, please, please, please try to avoid the 3 mistakes. Try to avoid, of course, thinking that your brand is just your logo. It's that process. It's that entire interaction with your clients and understanding them. And then, make sure that you're being consistent. You're not chasing those trends. And then, oh my goodness, what was my second one? Who took good notes? I'll have to go back. Where are we at? Help me out, ladies. Trying to help everyone.
Trying to help everyone.
Oh, good. A+ for you. Trying to help everybody because being able to get that consistency and knowing exactly who you can serve is actually going to help your business grow a lot faster. So with that, I'd love to open it up for questions regarding any of this.
I have a question. What if you really like, that you need to niche down and want to help people? Like, how do you do that and say, okay, I want to help, ages 20 to 75? Like, how can I like niche down further? What questions could I ask myself to really help narrow down the audience?
That is a beautiful, beautiful question. And I knew that number 2 was going to be kind of that sticking point for so many of you, because it's difficult to like really comprehend what this means. So that's why I say, think about the problem. Okay. So you may say, the person I want to solve for is 25 to 70, and I need to make that smaller. And when you start with what is the problem I'm trying to solve, it will answer that for you, because maybe a 70-year-old age group does not have that problem. Maybe a 25-year-old age group does not have that problem. However, maybe they all have that problem. And so the question you should be asking is not, how do I shorten that length of age demographic? Because it just doesn't matter. So when you focus on the problem first and what you're solving for, it will give you that answer of, is it specific to this age group? Is age even a relevant factor in how I want to break this down? And so that's how you can answer that. So if it's, I would love to serve all women who have children, that could be somebody who's 25 to 70. Okay. But somebody who is 70 and has a child is facing significantly more different problems than somebody who's 25 and has a child. And in that case, your age is going to matter. So does that make sense when I'm talking about niching? It's focus on the problem that you're solving for first. It's going to answer a lot of those questions. Excellent question, though.
Okay, so I have a question, Britt.
Yes.
So as far as, not like following trends, so I think this is one of the things that I think overwhelms me about social media, because they're, the algorithms and things like that changing. And, if you follow like some of these people like Michelle Gifford or anything, like, okay, this year it's going to be this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even have reels under my belt. Like, I don't want to learn something new. And so I kind of just like back off and just go back to what the standard things are. Like, it's like, how do you even navigate like what is worth following and what isn't? Because it can be overwhelming to keep up with all the things like all the time.
Oh, I love this question. Thank you so much for asking it. Okay. So I'm going to push back a little bit with this one, Diane. We have heard now for the past 18 months, short form video. You better get your reels in, you better do your TikToks, everything like that. Diane, you've known this, and it feels overwhelming. And when you feel overwhelmed, how often are you creating good, high quality content in a real type format? In a real type form,
like, yeah, not very much. So I would say about maybe 8 or 9 months ago, I pushed it pretty hard and put it out there. And then I was like, I don't know. It was so much work and I wasn't seeing a ton of feedback, I guess, back from it. And, and Michelle Gifford, she'll say that. She'll say, you got to be consistent, you got to do, and all these things. And I think I just was like, I was so tired of trying to keep up with a platform that's not my original platform to start with. My original platform was always Facebook. So to try and learn that many things and then keep up with it, it just felt like too much. And so I totally backed off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that happens over and over and over again with people. When you're just thinking like, I have to do this in order to grow because, somebody tells me this, or, I've heard this, or I follow this person and this is what they're doing. And it adds that, like I said, kind of like that guilt and shame. Oh, I'm not doing it right. Oh, I'm not. And you get this overwhelm. You just stop doing it. It just happens. And so for me, you focused on one thing. You said something that was really great, Diane. You are not seeing results because of it. In your business, you have to be able to have data to follow. If you're following the data, and that data can be in many formats. If you're doing this on social media, it's like how many people are liking, sharing, commenting, engaging and interacting. If you're doing, like if you're speaking on stage, that could be anything from I'm talking to, like, people come back and give me feedback response. More people want to hire me. I can tell, like, this is something that's hitting a point. So you get all of these data points, and then that data is going to tell you a story. So for example, Diane, your data was saying, my people don't really care about reels. So why am I wasting so much time and energy and effort in this? I could focus on where they really want to be, which is on a different platform and a different type of content style. So following that data is really, really important. To like do a second bullet on that, if you are not creating content, you're not going to have that data. Okay. So this is a little.
So what I hear you saying is that on some of these trends or these things that they're saying, you need to try it out, do it, see it, and then see what happens. Like if you, after you try it out, see if it works for you or not. Is that what I hear?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You're welcome to do that, but only in the ability that you have the capacity for. Okay. So let's say you've built up we understand that technology and social media is going to continue to switch platforms over and over and over and over again. Okay. Like if you're like, I want to grow really fast and I hear you have to be on TikTok to do that, that's wonderful. I just want to let you know, TikTok is going to stay around for a while. The next thing is Be Real. Okay. And so if you're like, oh, I'm going to spend all of this time on TikTok trying to figure this out, and Be Real is running over here and you're chasing it, and then you're leaving this audience because you're not serving them because you're going to go on to the next platform, that's just not a great way to run a business. I mean, do you ever see Apple and Nike and Coca-Cola doing that? They're not doing that. Okay. If you're seeing traction in your audience at Facebook by just putting like a text block up, stick with that. Okay. Don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. The CEO of Instagram, Adam, just came out last month saying, oh yeah, we kind of pushed this trend too hard. Instagram as a company chased the trend, right? And they pushed it so hard that their audience decided to say, we actually don't like this as much. And so they kind of had to backpedal. So they've said, now we're going to kind of balance out video and images a little bit better. How did they know that? They had the data, they tested it out, they listened to their audience, and now they're making shifts and changes. So all companies do this. You should do it too. But you have to create content and put stuff out there in order to have that data. And it can look like anything, just as long as you can be consistent with it and it's not overwhelming you. Has anyone here been on Be Real? I saw somebody nodding. Ingrid. Yeah, I was like, Ingrid, I saw nodding.
I haven't even ever heard of it before.
And that's the thing.
It sounds like it's just something where you post photos at a certain time, but it's a place to advertise also, or to put your market out, your stuff out there.
So now I will just preface, I am not an expert on Be Real at all, but it's like you get a notification that says like, okay, you have to hop on right now so that you can be as authentic as possible, showing X, Y, and Z, whatever it tells you, or some friend tags you. It will 100% turn into the next like platform, and people will learn how to monetize it and use it to market their business. Okay. Yeah, Ingrid, yes.
Do you have any ideas about how it would be used for business marketing, because it is so authentic instead of staged? Like how to jump on that train if that is going to be a good place for you to be. What do you do besides here's me folding my laundry? Like, what do you have any tips just to how to direct ourselves on that path as it's starting to take off?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it comes down to understanding your key pillars of what you speak about. And Connie talks about this all the time. Like when you understand, and I'm not sure if you use the term pillar. Is that
we use your core concept, your foundation 5, your audience avatar, your one big message, those things. But same thing. Just what is your one big message?
What is your one big message? How many different ways can you say your one big message? And like, let that be it. Your phone gets a ping. Excuse me, sorry. Your phone gets a ping and it's like, you have to be real. You always have the option to just not go on air. Okay. If your brand, I've talked about this with Connie. If your brand is not to look like a hot mess after you've gone grocery shopping, you haven't washed your hair for 5 days, or you've just like put your kids to bed, whatever it is, if that's not you, just don't go on at that time. But if you happen to be in a space where that is in alignment with you, like, sure, hop on and say, so glad I was able to hop on here. I'm going to tell you the one thing that happened to me today, and it didn't even have to happen today. It could have happened this week, whatever, that aligns with my one core message. That you call it your big idea theme. I'm making up
one big message.
Your one big message.
New content. You're creating it. It's awesome.
And so a really great thing for you to do, perhaps, Ingrid, is do what I call like a speed download. When you're trying to create content, we overthink it a lot. We're like, okay, what was that really big spiritual moment that I can think of, that I can create a story about, that can be a metaphor for how this happens? Some of you all are beautiful and wonderful and can just like pull this out of thin air. I've never had that talent. But if this is something you struggle with, like me, I love to do this exercise. It is a brain dump. You set a clock, like 10 minutes max, and say, I'm going to create 100 different topics, 100 different pieces of content, 100 different sentences about how I could talk about this. Your brain, when it's in a constrained environment, will work for you. Okay. Write them all down, put them on your phone, have a sticky note, keep a notebook on your side. And then honestly, when that Be Real notification pops up and you decide that this is the time for me, you have it right there. And you just, and then people are going to know, anytime I see Ingrid, I'm going to have a little tiny blip of a message that's really going to help me with what I need to today. That is a way that you can build your brand on a platform like that. And you can do that for any platform.
And can I add, I love everything you shared, Britt. This has been so good. I would love to add that to find that baseline method that you feel you best connect with your audience and they best receive it, and it's energy rich. That's what we kind of did at the retreat, trying to find that media match, because it's like, think of someone that you know that always dresses on brand for them. They just wear it. I think Ingrid, she dresses her brand all the time. She looks like she just came out of a J. Crew catalog, and but it's her. It's her own unique way of doing it, right down to a purse that was so unique and whatever. Anyway, and I know even if she's going to wear something different one day, or she's going to do something else or try something new, that generally speaking, I'm going to get Ingrid, and she's still going to have her fingerprint on it, and it's still the Ingrid way, which is what I'm drawn to. So I would encourage you, find that way that you connect on social media that is genuine, it's energy rich, and people can count on it. It's metronome based that goes like this. So if you try a reel and you try something, see what it's like. But what was that one thing, Lamira, we put it in the guidebook? And it was the place you would go on and be on stage, so to speak, for a second. It was like a podcast thing.
Oh, Periscope. It was like Periscope.
It wasn't Periscope.
No, it was the Clubhouse.
Yes, the Clubhouse. And everyone was like, that's going to be the next big thing. And I got invites and everything. And it was so overwhelming when I'm on there. It gave me a headache. And you know what? There's this draw to try. And I feel like it's almost adversarial, drawing you away from the drumbeat of what is going to be consistent. And just like Britt said, that consistency and that clarity that is going to draw your audience. It's like my little guy saying, I can't come off Xbox right now because I'll lose all of the things that I did. And I only have 30 seconds. And if I don't, then I haven't logged in for the day. And I'm like, it's fake, right? I have to remind him, this is not real. So all of this, that just, if it goes away in a day, I have to agree. I don't know that it's building your people or your brand. I would go to those things that are going to build your community, nourish them, encourage them, prepare them for your transformational one big thing, so that you are building that relationship, and someone after 22 years of reading your books and doing your stuff can still stand to work with you like Jerusha does. It's not she didn't do that from a Be Real experience. So if I may add that, I think de-stress, choose the energy rich method, and then play with it. Like you put on a little decorative pillow or something and say, I'm going to play with that just for fun if I desire. All right, TED Talk is over. Sorry. Go ahead, Britt. Any last thoughts for the ladies? We're going to break into coaching groups. Any one last thought that you have for the women?
Thank you so much, Connie, for that. For starters, thank you for letting me be here and be a part of this group. I always feel like this is so, so special. What's always on my heart is the good that women can influence in this world. And if there's any one thing that I can leave with you is that if you're feeling discouraged in your business, that's okay. Like, feel that feeling for a moment, but know that that is in no way an indication that you should not be continuing to pursue your greater purpose, because each and every single one of you has a beautiful, beautiful purpose and a way to contribute to this world that is exactly and only uniquely yours. And we need more of you. We need you to stand out there, to have your light, to share your message. It doesn't matter if it's, once again, as simple as like a hair bow business where you're just making something tiny and cute for a little tiny piece of somebody's life, or if it's something grand and amazing that will affect millions. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're following your calling, your purpose, and that's why you're here. And I love each and every one of you for that. And Connie, you know, I'm an open book. You can always, if you have any random questions or, oh my gosh, I can't do this, just reach out to me. I would love to chat with you.
Thank you so much. And we put her handle on the side, but everyone, can you give her a love and thank you? And if you haven't scheduled your session yet with Britt, you can get on, we have it in Member Vault. You can get on and schedule your free session and be able to go through your branding and alignment and get that all set with her. Okay. Britt, thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank you. Have a wonderful time. Bye,
Thank
ladies.
you, love.